Voices. How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about theater madness. We're going to talk about the craziness going on in movie theaters, coming off of the madness that is what's happening with the Minecraft film. We're going to talk about all the things from throwing popcorn and soda and candy and just being rude, having your phone on, all that good stuff. And if you want to hear what we have to say, sit back, relax, grab a snack, grab a beverage, and listen on in to the first ones to die.
Hello, everyone. You are not hearing voices. That's right. We are back. Welcome to the First Ones to Die podcast.
I mean, unless you're on the audio version of the podcast in which you are hearing exclusively voices.
You sound like my psychiatrist.
I know it's been a minute. Y'all probably been like, where are these fools at? Hey, it's been a year so far, so cut us some slack.
Tough year.
I am Jonathan. I'm here with Alex and Jerome. How are y'all doing? Alex, how are you doing?
That's a loaded question, and you know it. No, I've been doing fine. Sadly, at the beginning of April, I had to let Cheddar go. Unfortunately, he was quite sick, so it was the best thing for him. He is now in a better place, and with Snowball across that rainbow bridge, so trying to think happy thoughts about him, even though I miss him greatly. Like I said, he's in a better place now. Other than that, I've been kind of just adjusting, trying to be a little more with myself at the moment. As a nice distraction, I've gotten more into Legos, which I feel is helpful. It has definitely allowed me to focus my energy on something else, and I want to show you guys. I'm super proud of it. I'm super proud.
Let's say, what sets did you get?
Jaws!
Ooh,
Jaws!
Oh, that's cool.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
It says
that is cool. How long did it take you?
Multiple days. This boat.
I feel like that's...
So, shark was easy. Love the shark. This boat, the front of this boat particularly, fucking sucked. It was awful. There's a piece in there that kept popping off. I was so angry all the time. It actually helped me release, I think, some of my anger. So, the Legos did help. But it was so cool, and then the boat is so much fun because... Let me not try to do that.
Reminds me of I built when I have something similar like the Legos Prestige sets. The one I have is the Batmobile from the 1960s, like Adam West TV Batman.
See, that's cool. And then I got that each character right there. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
He's got a little machete in his hand, and I love that little.
I'll catch him. For,
Would you?
What do you say? I'll catch him for 7, but I'll kill him for 10.
Yeah.
See, it's been so long since I've built a Lego set. Would you ever deconstruct it and then construct it again, or are you gonna keep it constructed?
Keep it constructed because it's mainly so. Sorry, I got a little close to the edge. I would say I could deconstruct it and do it again. If it wasn't for that front piece, yeah. It wasn't even the whole front piece. It was like these little like two sides because you kind of had to smush them together to make the boat point at the front. And just every single time. At one time, I literally put the front piece to the other boat and I started building the shark because that's the last thing you build. All of a sudden, I heard it pop off. And I was going to leave it because everything's built. It's not technically an important part. I could have left it. But then I was like, it's there. It's in there and it's loose. And I know it's loose. So I couldn't do it. So I had to take apart the entire boat. Take off those little strings of the rope. Remove the characters. And so like, no. For this particular set, absolutely not. So like, I do have quite other few. Like my Flora one. My solar system one. I could probably do. The radio one I have up there, retro radio, is really cool. My sister got me that for Christmas. I would not deconstruct that one, mainly because I already tried because I dropped it. So inside is a bunch of pieces. I don't know where they go. So it looks fine on the outside, but on the inside, it's a mess like me. But other than that, I've just been really good focusing on work and just things like that. But how have you been, Jerome?
Good. It's been a time. I've been watching a lot of television, mostly on Apple TV Plus. Watched Daredevil Born again. It was alright. It was good. It's honestly been one of the better Disney Plus Marvel TV shows in a while. I think it's mainly because they're just building off of the Netflix show, which was already good, so that helped them a lot. But it was good. It was overall pretty solid.
I have one quick review of a movie. So I hadn't been in the mood to watch movies lately because of everything with Cheddar. But I finally was like, let me go see one movie, and it was Woman in the Yard.
Oh, I was gonna. Yes. Okay.
Boring.
What did you think?
Boring.
I'm about to say,
oh my gosh.
boring.
Yes.
I was not.
I left.
Like, I wasn't gonna
Wait, did
watch
we all
it.
watch it? Did we
watch
all
it?
watch
No, I didn't watch it. But watching the trailer, I was like, A, I feel like this ain't for me, and B, I feel like this ain't gonna be what people think it's gonna be.
and they did not have like any type of like what's it called, warning or you know what the word I'm saying, like warning that it was going to deal with like mental health and suicide. Like they did not have any type of disclaimer.
But it didn't really
like
even need that much of a disclaimer because they didn't really even go into that much graphicness of it or anything. Well, maybe towards a little bit. Actually, I left about an hour in. I was so bored, and I literally
I fell asleep.
I've never left a movie. That's something I've never done. Even though there's been movies I've been like, I wanted to walk out of Megalopolis so goddamn bad. I was like, no, I gotta finish. I'm here now. Might as well get to the rest.
I kept wanting to pull out my phone and start. I have a word game that I downloaded on the plane to LA. Funny enough, and now I'm obsessed with it. I kept wanting to pull that out, so I was like, "That's a bad sign." About an hour into this movie, which means this movie's only got like 45 minutes, 30 minutes left. I look at my phone. I'm like, it's only been an hour, and she's barely going into her madness. Basically, it's she's slowly falling into madness because of grief and loss, and all that stuff. But maybe an hour in, she finally has the first violent hallucination, is the best way to put it. And I was like, in that moment, I don't know what it was, that I was like, I have free will. I don't have to stay and watch this movie. And plus, I paid that whole, I get 3 tickets free for a week.
AMC. Now it's 4. It's 4 now.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be 4? It's not going to, I'm going to lose out on movies. So I was like, I don't have to stay. I'm an adult woman. I'm 34. I don't have to stay to watch this movie. So I left. I went home. Actually, no, I stopped at the store and I grabbed some ramen on the way home.
Listen, it's just like not on Jesus's earth. I'm leaving.
I was excited. Sorry, Jerome. I just have to get this out and then go back to your updates.
I mean, it's fine.
But I was excited for that movie. I'm like, okay, black cast. It's a horror movie. It looks interesting, like this creepy woman in this yard. I agree. It was just boring. I also watched it on a Friday night after like a long week, so that also might have contributed to the reason why I fell asleep during parts of it. And I was in the reclining chairs, so that didn't help. But even if I the parts that I was awake for weren't hitting for me. So
no, I watched it on a Tuesday. I was in the recliner seats. I was chilling. I had my icy, I had my popcorn ready. I was relaxing in the seats, and I was just every 5 seconds I wanted to pull out my phone and start playing on it and being like, nope, don't do that. There's only 4 other people in this theater, but that's gonna be rude. And it was just okay. Yeah, it was just slow movie. It reminded me honestly of The Wolfman.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
The Wolfman had the same issue. The pacing was so slow, and all it was to build suspense. And there were so many moments, multiple moments where things could have been resolved like that so easily. So simple. And every single time, the characters did nothing. It wasn't even that they made the wrong choice. It wasn't even that they made a stupider choice. It wasn't even that they were oh, we're going to do this or that. It's literally the characters did nothing. So the story stopped and you were just at some other standstill waiting for something else to happen. That's the whole issue with woman in the yard, which I thought was like an interesting concept. It looked creepy for me. It looked creepy during the trailer, just saying in the middle of nowhere, just some random woman dressed in black in your yard bleeding.
Right.
I wasn't interested. After watching the trailer, I was like, all right.
I tried.
Especially because it's like, like for me, it's uninteresting because I'm like, I feel like the second it's like, there's a mysterious woman in the yard. She's just sitting there. 911, come get her.
But that's the thing. Their phone was off.
Okay, then if the phone ain't working, okay, so what you're saying is she's on my property. None of y'all know her, right? Nah, she ain't invited? Nah, okay.
Which was literally a thing they could have done. The son was like, I'm going to go get the shotgun. The mom's like, no, you sit right there. He's like, it's good to have it around. No, you stay right there.
I'm not even coming out the door. I'm blowing her away from the inside the safety of my home through the window.
We should drive to the neighbors for safety. No, you sit right there. We should do this. No, you're going to sit right. That was literally the whole movie. You're going to sit right there. It's like, I can understand why y'all going mad. Just sitting there, doing nothing. Sorry. Yeah, no, that was so boring. I'm so happy other people were finding it boring too. Because I was like, is it just me? Because I did the same thing with the Babadook. I didn't like it. I thought it was kind of boring.
You know, I've seen like a mix. I've seen some people who don't like it, and I've like because they say like the same critique that it's boring, and I've seen some people who love it because of how like methodical and thoughtful it is. I've never watched it, so I don't have an opinion either way. But I've seen like both sides of that of that movie.
Yeah, I've seen I think what they did with the book was really cool, and I think that's the points it hit. But outside that little book portion, it's so boring to me and so slow paced, and people are always like, oh, you just didn't understand the story. It's about a mom. I'm like, no, I get it. She's going into madness. She's taking down her son, this and that. And then finally at the end, she accepts that she's bad with the Babadook locked in the basement. I get it. No, I get it. I just didn't like it. It's not some deep beating. It's not some like, you have to really, really pay attention. No, I got it. Like 5 seconds in, I got it. I got where they were going with the story. Still boring to me. Things aren't as deep as people think. But yes. Sorry, Jerome. Continue.
It's fine. Yeah. So watch Daredevil, Born Again. Finish The Pitt. So good. Easily, like I'm not a big medical drama guy. So if it's some medical drama and I'm watching it, it has to be something interesting. And as a person and mostly not a medical drama guy, because I got tired of the bullshit of every medical drama being, hey, like here's a hospital that surprisingly runs considering everyone's sleeping with everybody and all this damn drama's going on. Half of the staff has mental health issues that they don't talk to a therapist about, despite being in a goddamn hospital with social workers and everything else. That's probably actually very accurate, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, they're so dramatic. And I'm like, I'm just here for the medicine. And the Pit is like, we got you, because it's all about the medicine. There are some realistic parts of the Pit for sure. Like, I think the biggest thing being that there's no respiratory team. Like the respiratory team, like I've been watching like doctors and our emergency care doctors and emergency nurses react to the show. And a lot of them, that's their main critique is, where the hell is the respiratory team to help with like intubation and breathing and all that stuff? Like, where are they at? They also sometimes like, they make the show, if you go by the show, you'd make it think like the emergency department does everything. Like there's a birth scene that's really cool, but I watched the OBGYN watching and they were like, why don't y'all just send them up to the OBGYN? Yeah, there's no way you guys would be doing this. But it's because, you know, we can't do a show with like 1,000 characters. So they have only the main characters do a lot of stuff. So there are some minor unrealistic things. But for the most part, it does a great job illustrating how crazy it is to be in an emergency room, the stress of doing it, how frequently like cases are coming in. There's a lot of great things where like there's like you know, people coming in and out who like have minor things to major things, and it's not like like a Grey's Anatomy where this person comes in and now for 6 seasons we're gonna deal with this one patient. It's like, no, this patient was here for like 15 minutes. We got them all figured out. They're leaving. Meanwhile, we got other things to worry about and new people coming in. And it's really interesting, especially towards the end of the season where they deal with a major event that happens that is very relevant to not only our current situation, but I think also opens your eyes to like what the emergency room, like the scope of what the emergency room really deals with when a lot of these like big events that we take for granted because we just watch it on the news, like happens. And also in a way relates a little bit to COVID and the stress of that situation and what they had to deal with back then too. So it's a really great show. If you haven't seen The Pitt, and and granted, it's very grody, all right? So just know that there's a lot of blood, a lot of gore. You get to see some bodies messed up. So just know that,
they announced the season 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The show's super popular. It's doing very well. So I was not surprised when they announced the season 2.
I'm dying to watch it. It has been on my list. Like I said, weird month. So it is something. I will say about the baby care people.
OBGYN.
Yes, thank you. I will say though, sometimes they don't have beds upstairs, so they can't go up. Or sometimes the hospital literally doesn't have it because there was an incident just recently at the Swedish Cherry Hill to First Hill. Cherry Hill campus does not have the room for the babies. So they sent them over to First Hill. And on the way to First Hill, baby was born in the ambulance.
Oh, no, they do illustrate that, actually.
Yeah.
They talk about that of, like, if there's beds upstairs and things. So
yeah, I was like...
They got you. They remember
I was like, because, like, babies sometimes are just like, fuck y'all, we be more now. They just, like, they decide. It's absolutely up to them whether they're coming or going or what's going on. So...
Yeah, honestly, yeah, the, like, whoever the medical reps were for this show, they're on point. Like everything, like because here's the thing about The Pitt. As a person who's not in the medical field, they just say the stuff. You know, they're like, you know, we need epi, we need intubation, so and so. Like they're just rattling off stats like actual doctors would, and I'm like, I know I've understood like 50% of what you just said, but it doesn't matter that I don't know what you just said because I'm just engrossed in just like you feel like you were sitting in the emergency room, just watching doctors at work. And it's beautiful. It's a great thing. I think it's a show we need in this time, in this day and age, to like finally show like the real deal of what healthcare workers deal with, not just doctors, but nurses as well. And even to a degree, like the people driving ambulances, the security staff, the social workers, the people upstairs who are dealing with the money of hospitals. Like they cover the gambit of like everybody that's involved in the healthcare system and how difficult it can be, how stressful it can be. And even like seeing the waiting room for the emergency room of just like, it's just filled to the gills with people. And some of them have something super serious and some of them have stuff that like they got to get checked out, but they're there for like 6+ hours because, you know, people keep coming in with like higher priority emergencies. Like, so it's a really great show if you want to just like understand just how important the healthcare system is and how expansive it is. So it's great. The Pitt's a fantastic show. And then I've been watching other stuff, but it's nothing that's like really growing right now. But I do like finally for 2025, media news time. We got media news. And I'm gonna save, like, we're not gonna go over all the stuff, but just the stuff that feels relevant to the podcast and things that might be interesting to talk about in general. First of all, we got a trailer for Megan 2.0. It's finally coming out June 27th. We got Megan 2.0, and I don't know if I'm excited or not because I'm like, you're just doing Terminator 2? That's what you're doing now?
No, they're like, they know the audience that they're marketing towards.
For real.
They have
They
upped the marketing. One of the trailers or one of the posters or something, it said the bitch is back.
Yeah.
And there was another one that was like, I can't remember what it was, but it's that type of language for the marketing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it's taking what Megan was supposed to be, which was kind of like Child's Play, but you know, in a futuristic way, to like, I don't know, whatever the fuck that is now.
Yeah, it's way campier than it was before, which is hard to believe because it was already campy as is. And now it's even more so. Like it's insane how campy it is. But you know, I guess it is what it is. Also, real quick, sorry, forgot another thing that I watched a little bit of. I got to finish Black Mirror. Most recent season 7.
Dang,
just
you
came
stole
out.
mine.
Well, I won't spoil too much because I haven't actually watched all of it. I only watched the sequel episode to USS Callister,
Oh,
and
I
that
haven't
was
watched
it.
that yet.
So that's all I've seen so far. But
I've-
the rest, like I gotta watch the rest.
I've only watched. I'll just mention it now. I've only watched. I watched the first episode, the one with Rashida Jones, and the one with Issa Rae and Emma Corrin. That one was.
Is that
was
the
really
one that's
good.
got people talking about Issa Rae can't act? And I'm like, are y'all fucking for real?
I saw all that discourse after I watched the episode, and I'm glad I did because I enjoyed the episode for what it was, and it's like a really like touching episode, and you would be touched by it more if you block out all those people who are talking trash about Issa Rae.
Yeah,
I've not
I don't
watched it
really
at all.
give a damn. I'm like, I'm still gonna watch it, and I like Issa Rae. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah. It fits her what she did with the role fits with the scenario and the character for the episode. That's all I'll say.
Okay. We also got a trailer for, I think this is funny because I feel like this is where Liam Neeson's at in his career, but we got a trailer for The Naked Gun, which is a reboot of the Naked Gun comedy series starring Liam Neeson. It looks hilarious. I'm excited
that took me
for
off
it.
guard. But like Liam Neeson's like funny in a serious way. Like I was talking about it, somebody was like, I don't think he can be comedic. I was like, well, he did this like cameo in Ted. Where he was just talking about buying Trix the cereal, and he's like, "Is this for children?"
I mean,
Where that was actually pretty hilarious.
Liam Neeson actually has he's very humble with comedy because he's also in Anchorman 2 in the cameo role when they do the Anchorman fight in that movie, and he shows up and he's hilarious. He's really good. Like he's very funny when he wants to be, but I think it's because of how dry he is. Like he does it seriously, which is what the joke is. Like it's goofy, but it's only funny because he's still like, I've heard there's Trix cereal. It's strictly for kids. Like, you know what I mean? It's the fact that he's taking it seriously that makes it funny, and he commits. And that's great. So I'm excited for The Naked Gun. Today, we got a trailer for a movie that is that a lot of people have been curious about and excited about, called I Know What You Did Last Summer. The requel that they're doing, because it's a sequel to the previous movies, so it's in continuation, but it is kind of a reboot in that, like, really the older characters are just doing cameos, like Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt. Really, it's about a new cast of characters. But
I thought they were like still starring in it because they like announced
they might be. I mean, they're only in the trailer for like flashing bits, so that's why I say cameos. But who knows? Maybe they have a bigger role in the movie, like when the movie actually comes out.
The director has teased also that Brandy might be in it as well.
I mean, she did survive, so yeah.
She did.
Yeah,
It'll
but
be
she
worth
said
it.
she was never hanging out with them again. Which, like, fair. Yeah, and she's like, nope, I'm going back to the city. I'm never doing this again.
That's true, because to be fair, she had nothing to do with why that dude was there. She wasn't in the first movie, so literally just her being friends with Jennifer Love Hewitt's character is the only reason she was involved in that scenario. So
She
realistically,
just decided to
if
be
she
this
never
girl's
hangs out with
roommate.
if she never hangs out with her again, she will be perfectly fine. Because the dude was after her, like after Jennifer Love Hewitt. That's the only person he wanted to kill, really. So, but I mean, honestly, the trailer looked good. I was like, cool. It's very like slasher horror. Looks like it captures the vibe very well. Out of all the reboots we've gotten over the years of like old slasher movies, this one looks like it's the most like we're modern in that we're using modern filming techniques, and we're trying to be a little more like in line with where horror movies are at currently, but like we're still gonna pay respects to the campiness that was the old movies as well. And I'm like, cool, that's great. That's the way to do it. Also, although coming off of that trailer, because this movie's going to star one Tyreek Withers. Well, Tyreek Withers having a year because he's not only in this movie, he's also in another movie we got a trailer for called Him, starring Marlon Wayans and produced by Jordan Peele, because that's a big confusion a lot of people have currently. It is not directed by Jordan Peele. He is producing it through his company.
But
Monkey
they
Paw.
put Jordan Peele's name on all
and
the
they put
posters,
his name big on the posters, so so they're using his name to sell the movie. But make no mistake, he is not directing. Maybe he might have given some pointers or something, maybe, because producer is a very vague role. Like, people could be producers for just giving money or by basically half directing the movie themselves. So we don't know, but the level of his involvement. But he's the producer. Justin Tipping is the director. And I think
is that the guy that
well.
did Bad Hair? You remember that movie
think
on
he
Hulu?
is. I think he is the that guy.
But I did watch that trailer, and I don't normally watch trailers, but I did watch that trailer, and I'm excited about that one.
The trailer looks good, a little demonic, to be quite honest.
people,
but
people
not
were
in a bad way, just in a like.
Hold on. I'm
like,
watching the trailer now.
This is scary.
Oh, it's Justin Simeon who did Bad Hair. What's the guy's name? Justin Tipping.
Yeah, Justin Tipping. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
he's one of 3 writers who wrote this movie, by the way.
Okay. But I people were saying that this is like the substance for bros. And from the trailer, I kind of get it. Yeah,
they do have like similar vibes going on right now.
But it's unique in that like you don't really have a lot of horror movies that also deal with sports,
Well, I like the idea. A lot of people are theorizing that the idea, like, despite because the description has been very vague, to not spoil the movie, but a lot of people are assuming that it's about CTE and head trauma. And so really, like, it's going to be another, like, psychological horror movie, and that some of these things don't really exist. They're mostly just him seeing them because he's got brain trauma, which I'm like, that could be cool. Like, I think because that's a topic not talked about very often. I think out of all the movies we've gotten about the NFL, very few of them are about concussions that aren't documentaries. I mean, that are very few of them are about, like, damage to your body. You're crashing into other people with your head. Like, that's, despite having a helmet, you could still get serious brain trauma. And there's some football players to this day that are dealing with that, who are retired or had to retire because of brain injuries. So it's like, it's a serious thing. Or died. Yeah. So it's like having a movie that kind of plays on the horror of that could be interesting. It could be something really unique and different. For me, I felt like it was similar to something like Whiplash or Black Swan, of like this mentor pushing this younger person to their limits, to the point where they go a little crazy. But we'll see when the movie comes out. Like, but it looks interesting though. It does look good. It looks really good. Mm-hmm. I had my doubts originally because I wasn't sure. Given the cast, I was like, a lot of these people, I don't know who they are, and Marlon Wayans, it depends like whether he wants to act that day or not. Like, sometimes when it comes to his roles, but he's doing the damn thing. He looks like he's dedicated. He's really going to be an interesting character. I'm curious to learn more about his character.
I could see it being a type of role where he could inject, no pun intended, some of his like comedic elements into the role. You know how sometimes a dramatic role or a dramatic tone, like a film with a dramatic tone, and you have like maybe more of a comedic role in the movie. But from the trailer, it doesn't look like it's that comedic. But I feel like he could maybe put some of that in it, sprinkle some of that in it, and it would still work.
I mean, I'm open for a level on like Requiem for a Dream type stuff, because Marlon Wayans has that in him. He is a great actor when he wants to be. So I'm excited to see like his performance. And like, we also got a new trailer for Fantastic Four. Just wanted to mention it because it looks interesting. I think people are excited for this one just because it's like, it looks different. It takes place in the alternate universe 60s. People are excited for that. And I think people are excited to see Pedro Pascal. Especially,
I was going to say, Pedro Pascal is truly the hardest work. Like, how does Pedro Pascal has more than 24 hours in his day? Like, how does he have time?
Him and Joseph Quinn both, because Joseph Quinn also is working his ass off. That man is in everything. He's in Warfare right now. That new the new war movie that's out right now from Alex Garland.
He's going to be one of the Beatles.
Yeah, man. Like, he's yeah. I think that's funny. The whole Beatles discourse is kind of crazy right now.
The fact that they're doing 4 movies, though,
that's the part for me that's like ridiculous. I don't care about the casting. I mean, I get why people are upset. People are upset because
there's
like
4 Beatles movies coming out.
they're making 4 Beatles movies. Each is going to kind of focus on one beat. Like, it's going to be about all of them, but each is going to like be a little more focused on one at a time, because all 4 of them have had like such prolific careers both in the Beatles and outside of the Beatles. So there's like, so each movie is going to be like, okay, this movie's about the Beatles, but from John's perspective. This movie's about the Beatles, but from Paul's perspective. Like, that sort of thing is the idea.
How are they going to make that so like we don't get bored? Why?
I think they're going
We're
to
gonna
try
get
and
bored.
I think they're going to like omit things. Like, they're only going to include, like, when it's the Beatles portion, they're only going to include the parts that are relevant to that person, like the songs that John wrote, the songs that Paul wrote, like, you know, like in their respective movies. So that way it doesn't get stale. Like, we're not seeing the same
So
concerts
does that mean like
over
Ringo's
and over again.
movie is just quiet?
I think Ringo wrote a song. Didn't he write a song? I don't know. I mean, he
know
has,
nothing of the
But
Beatles.
that means we're only gonna get crumbs each movie. It's like, oh, I'm excited for Let It Be, and then that's it. And then, like, you know what I mean?
Listen, I don't know, okay? I don't know how this is
Oh,
going to
we're
work.
acting-
It sounds
we're
like
acting
man,
like
to
you
the
decided
Yellow
this.
Submarine. I want them not to have a movie.
Why did you decide this, Jerome?
I didn't make these decisions. Because at first I was like, I thought it was already crazy when they did the 2-parter Queen Elizabeth movies with Tilda Swinton. Or not Tilda Swinton, sorry, Cate Blanchett. And those movies already were like interesting, but they did it. They did a great job, like, you know, telling her life in 2 movies, like the 2 parts, the time when she was becoming queen and the time when she had been queen. It's, you know, great series of like great dual movies. This is too much. Like, first of all, I feel like to your point with Ringo is like, he's important to the Beatles. He's an important figure, but he hasn't had like the same career as Paul McCartney, and John Lennon hasn't had the same career as Paul McCartney, and Paul McCartney hasn't had the same career as George Harrison. Like, all 4 of them have like varying levels of popularity, especially because, like, you know, how long they've stayed, like 2 of them are dead. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know how this is going to work having 4 movies.
They could have just done a part 1 and part 2, which is like at most.
Yeah,
Ideally,
exactly.
it would just be one great movie.
Yeah, like the first movie is like the Beatles as the band, you know, them together, their years, you know, Abbey Road, Sgt. Pepper's, all that stuff. And then the second movie, what happened after with everybody? Like, where are they at now? You know, or how they, you know, how did they change as the band grew apart and they went off and did their solo careers and things like that.
That apparently that's what they're considering for the Michael Jackson movie, because the Michael movie, they've been delaying it, so it was supposed to come out Christmas of this year, and I think they just delayed it.
I think they just said it's supposed to be like two parts now, right? That it's gonna be like
they're I think they either announced or are considering putting it releasing it in 2 parts.
Okay.
So yeah.
But yeah, Fantastic Four is coming. It looks great. I'm excited for it. I mean, I'm also excited for Thunderbolts, but I feel like we've gotten so many Thunderbolts trailers at this point. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, like you don't need to convince me. I'm going. But Fantastic Four, like I think a lot of people are on the fence about it because like we haven't gotten a great Fantastic Four movie ever. Even the old ones of the 2000s with Jessica Alba and them, like they were good, but they weren't great. They were just like, get some popcorn, turn your brain off, enjoy some Fantastic Four. So this will be but this one looks to be something great. I think I have a lot of stock in this one being something special and being something unique, and I'm glad that it isn't. And I think that's just because it's not so beholden to this MCU. Like, it has to fit in the story, and we got to have the cameos, and like it takes place in its own universe, its own separate thing. I mean, they will tie into the MCU proper, but as far as their movie's concerned, it might as well be its own thing. And I'm excited about that because it means you have the creative freedom to do a Fantastic Four movie however you want to do it, to a degree. So I'm excited for that. And speaking of MCU, that'll lead me into like just media news in general. Marvel, like, they had a win with the Fantastic Four trailer, but they pissed a lot of people off with their bullshit 5-hour stream announcing the cast of Avengers Doomsday. Do either you know about this?
They would have been better off announcing who's not in it, because
No,
That would have been easier. That would have been easier. Would have saved time.
giving up with like Disney and their Marvel stuff.
Well-
I'm so sick of it. I'm tired. I don't care anymore.
Well, here's
I
the
want it to
thing: the
die.
cast, like you say that, Jonathan, but we don't actually know because I don't believe that the casting thing they showed is the whole cast. They're obviously hiding people so that they could be surprised.
How? Who could they hide? They announced every actor in Hollywood.
They didn't announce all the people who've been in an MCU movie. That's what I mean. All right, there's some people they were missing. Some like very specific exceptions, like Benedict Cumberbatch. Where's you mean to tell me Doctor Strange ain't gonna be in your Avengers movie? There's some big people they missed and exclusively left out. So
Holy shit! I thought you were joking.
Right.
No, don't get me wrong. It is a long cast list. It's a fucking huge cast list.
So we know that some of these people are going to be day players. Some of these people only getting 1 or 2 lines.
Yeah. Like,
because otherwise this movie will be 5 hours long, like that live stream.
But here's the thing about the live stream.
Right there. Benedict Cumberbatch. Right there.
See, that's Google saying that. They didn't say that. But he could. But I still think he's gonna be in the movie regardless. But yeah, like there are a lot of people that were missing from the cast list that people noted and were like, where's this person? Where's this character? Like Sam Jackson, he's not on there. He wasn't on one of them chairs either. And people were like, Nick Fury ain't gonna be in this movie. So that's what I mean. Like for all we know, we haven't seen the full cast list. But the reason it was bullshit is because all it was chairs. It was just a bunch of director chairs with their names on it. They did one cheeky one by having Paul Rudd's chair be smaller than everyone else's because he's Ant-Man, so it's like tiny. But outside of that, it's just a bunch of chairs and a camera slowly panning across all of the chairs.
Well, they got them to get like 25 actors up there.
Exactly. They got to save their money too, because they're gonna have to shell out all this money for all these people. They can't ask them to go one day more than what they need them for.
Here's the thing. According to Simu Liu, the half of the reason they did that though is also because, and he did blame Tom Holland a little bit. He was like, because of people like Tom Holland, he's ruined it for all of us now because they don't tell us shit. Because Simu Liu was in the casting, his name was on there, and he was like when people were talking to him about it, because also in the casting list was the X-Men. Well, select members of X-Men: Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Rebecca Romijn, Alan Cumming, so on and so forth. And so they were like, well, how do you feel about working with the X-Men? He's like, honestly, I didn't know that shit till the video came out. They didn't tell us anything. They didn't tell us who we were working with because we haven't filmed anything. So they've been keeping that like lock and key tight because of people like Tom Holland and all the leaks and stuff. So since then, now Marvel doesn't tell us nothing. So I found out when you guys found out. So I think that's why they did chairs, because I think they were also, in a way, telling the cast who's going to be in the movie. Like, hey, congratulations, you're in the movie. But
that's like too much, though. Like, that's being too much. And I think at this point, after Doomsday, just let it go. Release yourself. Honestly, somebody had a joke that they were like saying, they're like, what are the odds that they just messed up? That the reason the stream was 5 hours was because someone cut down the video, and Marvel even released the video in a cut down version that speeds up the video to like 2 minutes. And so a lot of people were like, what are the odds that they messed up, hit like you know how you change the stream from like your preview screen to like then the video or the stream or whatever? What if somebody hit that on accident too early, like 5 hours too early? And they're like, shit, what do we do? I don't know. Play the clip in extra slow-mo to drag it out because we fucked up. What if they had planned to actually get the cast, like get everybody, and this was just a run through? They're like, all right, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna slow everything down.
But they accidentally hit go live.
Yeah. See, I could believe that
if Paul Rudd actually his person's gonna be a toy. It's not gonna actually be Paul Rudd. Just like slow it down. And they're like, we just did it live.
Here's the thing.
Is that wine, Jerome, or is that
no? It's juice. Okay. It's berry juice.
Just felt fancy tonight.
I just wanted to put it in a goblet to be fancy, but yeah, no, it's not wine. But Here's the thing. I could believe your theory, Alex, if one cast member wasn't available, because the last chair was Robert Downey Jr., who's playing Dr. Doom, sitting in his chair, and he just looks at the camera and then gets up and walks off.
That still could be a test run. Maybe he was the only one that was ready. And they're like, hey, he's like, all right, I'm just going to do the run through with you guys. He's like, I'm already here. They're like, okay, hey, why don't you do something cheeky?
Yeah, we also didn't see Mark Ruffalo's name, so people were like, ain't no Hulk in this Avengers movie, so.
He's on the Google list.
Honestly, I'm kind of over it with Avengers. Like, I'm excited for Fantastic Four for all the reasons I said, because it feels creative and interesting. Avengers, they got the Russo brothers back, coming off the failure that is the Electric State movie. We got Robert Downey Jr. coming back, even though, honestly, I think half the fan base is like, why? You couldn't get another actor? There's not 1,000 other people you could have hired.
And he's going to be in a mask the whole movie.
Right. Secondly, like, a lot of the, like, people are like, what are we even doing? Like, the other Avengers movies we are excited for because you're built up to them. This one just feels like it's just happening to happen. But there's no build up. Like, we don't even know what's happening. Dr. Doom hasn't showed up at all until he's not going to show up at all until this movie, probably, or maybe at the back end of Fantastic Four as like a mid-credit scene or something. But otherwise, we're not going to see him till that movie for the first time. So a lot of people are like, we're over it, man. You can't get away with this bullshit no more. You better give me a solid trailer when this comes up. So that's Marvel. But also in fandom, also real quick, talking about Pedro Pascal, I'm glad people are liking The Last of Us season 2. But I'm curious to see, like, people are already feeling the emotional turmoil that we as gamers felt when we played Last of Us Part 2. If you're watching season 2, or you haven't watched season 2 already and you're about to watch it, just know you're in for an emotional roller coaster. All right, I won't tell you what happens, but just know, have Kleenex ready every episode, probably. Every episode. I'm not joking. Every single episode, have Kleenex ready. Anyway, last thing on media news that I think is just worth us talking about because I think it's an interesting development. So, like, you guys might already know about this, but I want to talk about it. Is we got our official start of our casting news of confirmed cast members for, you guessed it, for the We're Not a Part of J.K. Rowling campaign, aka the new Harry Potter series, because Warner Brothers has been actively on a mission to separate themselves from J.K. Rowling as much as possible while still being attached to the Harry Potter license as much as possible because of the theme park and the merchandising rights and all that stuff. And they still want to, make money off Harry Potter, but they don't want to be attached to J.K. Rowling. So they keep making new things. Like, last project we got was Hogwarts Legacy, the video game, which, great game, amazing. I played it, beat it, love it. They're making a sequel, but it is definitely like a game where it's like J.K. Rowling had nothing to do with this Harry Potter game, even though in a perfect world, if she was a better person, they absolutely would have called her. They shut down Fantastic Beasts. We're not getting no more of those. Thank God, because the last ones were awful, the last two. And now they've officially announced the cast for their Harry Potter series that they're doing on HBO Max. Now, the big thing about this series, they've said it doesn't come out till 2026, but the big thing about the series is that it's going to be more closely related to the books than like the movies. And a benefit that the show has that the movies didn't is that the books were coming out when the movies were coming out. So a lot of information they were kind of getting as it was happening. Versus the show is going to have all the information. So now they can play around with timeline, maybe fix it, like fill in some plot holes, because Harry Potter very much is a story where you could tell it's J.K. Rowling being like, I'm writing it as I go. I'm not going to remember some of these plot things that could help out in a pinch from previous books. So now they can kind of like flesh out some things, make it a little more cohesive, do whatever. But the reason it's become a hot button topic is because of who some of these castings are. And so this is from GQ, an article showing some of the casting. I'm going to share my screen here so you guys can see it as well. So first, we've got confirmed
Yeah, I can see that.
Nick Frost as Hagrid, which I think is a great casting choice. I think he'll do well. He'll fit the role very well. I'm digging it. We've got John Lithgow as Dumbledore. Some people have some criticisms. I personally think he'll be fine once they put the makeup and stuff on him. I think he'll look great. Like, he's going to have a big old white beard and a hat and all the stuff. Like, once they get all that stuff on him, he'll be fine. Like, no, he's not British per se, but I think he'll be fine. You know, get him a good accent coach. He'll be like, he'll nail the role. Next we've got, I forget her name right now. Janet McTeer as Professor McGonagall, which I think is the most perfect casting, even more so than Hagrid. Like, she looks like a young Professor McGonagall. And with the original actress who played Mrs. McGonagall passed away, I think Janet McTeer is a great person to carry the torch and be Professor McGonagall. But the one that's the most controversial is this one, which is Papa Isuidu as Severus Snape. Now, of course, immediately the biggest controversies has been like,
is it because he's too tall?
A little bit, yes. No, I'm just kidding. It's been the racist people coming out and just being like, "What? Snape's black? Oh, like that's so lame. Why'd you like, you know, whatever." Like, it is what it is. Most of those people wanted Adam Driver, which admittedly I think also would have been better casting. Me personally, mainly just because he looks like the character very well, and I think he can carry the voice. He can have definitely similar tone for Severus Snape, but the more legit concerns that people have put up in regards to Severus Snape is in reaction to how other characters treat Severus along, like, as the story goes on. And for those that don't know, who haven't watched Harry Potter or read the books, what they mean is that Harry Potter, the character, upon seeing Severus Snape, thinks he's shady without knowing a single thing about him. Ron, when they're doing their Defense of the Dark Arts class, and they have to do their obliterate test, and they're facing their worst fears, everyone else is like, you know, like something really scary, like a snake or something. Ron Weasley's is Severus Snape, as if to imply he's scared of this black dude he also knows nothing about. Everyone thinks that Severus Snape is evil just because of who he is and because he at one time used to be a part of the Death Eaters. It gives the impression that you are going to turn every single character in Harry Potter, up until we find out the reveal of Severus Snape, into a racist. Because all of them are judging this man based off of his previous criminal past, and not off his character. That's the problem.
Past too.
And they didn't think it through. It's like, you clearly did not think this through when you cast him. Because no shade to Papa Sweeto, I think he's a great actor, and I'm sure he's going to do a great job. But that's the impression
the wrong
you've
character
made.
Black.
Right. I'm like, if you were going to cast a black actor, you should have. You had to cast somebody else. Severus was not the one to pick.
I saw somebody else say this, that like you could have literally done this with any other character.
Right. And like, I'm like, the only way they can fix this now is to make one of the main cast black, like the kids, which they're if they do, probably be Hermione out of all of them, or have a black character be like important, like make Cedric Diggory black or something, so that we know these kids are not racist. Because if they're all white,
I mean,
it's going to be a problem.
Black character, isn't there Cedric?
No, Cedric's white too.
No, there's one of them in the background that's black. He's friends with the Irish boy who.
How do
is
y'all
like
know? I thought none of us watched Harry Potter.
I binge watched it over over our hiatus. So I actually watched all the movies in like over a week's time.
That's insane.
Oh
and TikTok
gosh.
for me. And I
had nothing to do. I was bored.
A lot of coworkers that like Harry Potter, so I just say like inaccurate things and they like correct me immediately. Is Voldemort black? Oh, they missed an opportunity for that.
Well, this is speculation. A lot of people are hoping it's
it's not going to be
Cillian
him.
Murphy. But
he has a
I don't think he'll do it.
Movie career right now.
But anyway, but it's just the Snape casting is the one that is the most like
so they just
concerning.
Change a random black character into a black guy, and they chose Snape. That's hilarious.
My thing is this. I understand this is where I constantly have pushback, but I constantly keep saying it. Just because you want to add diversity to your shows and your movies, you have to consider and think about if it is actually a good idea to do it in context of the story. You can't, don't just do it because you want to add color to your story. If there's no place to add color, that's okay.
Oh my god, yeah, I remember. So another thing with Harry Potter is they give him very racist names, as Cho Ching. But yes, there is one described character as black or having a dark skin, and his name is Kingsley Shacklebolt.
Yeah, Kingsley's awesome. But yeah, because he's African.
Shacklebolt is his last name, though. Oh, that's terrible.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like if you wanted to add, like, they should have done what the movies did, where in the movies there are black kids. Like their way of getting around the black character issue is to have black students that are just around. None of them are important, but they're there. So it implies there are black Hogwarts students. Just do that. You didn't need to make it like, or again, make any other character black. Black McGonagall, Black Dumbledore, Black, like any of the rest could have been black and it would have been fine. So we'll see.
When they're trying so hard not to be racist that they just do full circle to racist. Oh, it tickles me for some reason.
So I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see how it goes. Like, when the show comes out in 2026, me personally, I think they should have just left it alone. You already got 8 successful Harry Potter movies. You don't need more Harry Potter content.
Well, they did with the magical creature thingies. I think they should have done the Harry Potter's dad. I see a lot of that in that fandom too. Whether it's the Mars, whatever that map is, the dad's besties who bullied Snape. I think people got
I don't know. I'm not that deep into the fandom. I don't actually know that. But
you know
that's another thing people brought up.
You know what they should have done? They just should have done it like the Wigs. They should have just like
made everybody black.
Yeah, or everybody Latino, or everybody Asian, or like something else.
What's funny is, like, that's another thing you bringing up Harry Potter's dad. They're like, so let me get this straight. Y'all gonna turn Harry Potter's dad racist? He gonna pick on the only black kid in Hogwarts?
I didn't think about that either. Like, they call him bad names. Like
I was like, y'all don't understand what you've done. I'm gonna trust them. Maybe they're gonna hear these complaints and be like, ah, shit, we fucked up. Because they've only done casting. They haven't shot anything. So they can change the script. And they haven't casted the main kids yet. We still don't know who's playing Harry, Ron, and Hermione. So
they just need to know.
They can fix this. They have time to fix this. But they've got to fix it. And I'm hoping they hear the fans when they talk about this. Because if they don't, it's going to be some problems. It's like some major, major problems. But anyway, now to talk about what we came here to talk about.
Wait,
hold on. Jonathan, how are you
No,
doing?
you skipped my
Yes,
stuff.
thank
Now I'm good.
you.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Thank you. An hour and 10 minutes in.
That's right. No, go ahead. I'm just playing around.
Yeah, I have been also watching some movies in the most recent weeks. First off, I went to Coachella not this past weekend, but a couple weekends ago.
Yo,
awesome.
have you been seeing the discourse of people talking about
Don't
how
believe.
Coachella's
I was
not
just
for
about
black
to say.
people?
Don't. Wait, what?
I've seen a piece of that too, of people being like because of how Coachella was, they're like, and this is why we don't go as black people. And I'm like, black people go to Coachella? What are you talking about?
I saw plenty of black
people go
people.
to Coachella.
Now I will. When you're in the crowds, we are far and few between. But
Wait, I'm sorry. One more time to interrupt, though. So last year I invited Jerome to the Renaissance Fair, and there was not many people of color. And what was so funny is that every black man we ran into, Jerome knew.
That's true. Most of my friends were there.
Yeah. Every time there was another black man there, Jerome was like, "Hey, I know him." I'm like, "Why are you being a stereotype right now?"
I have a lot of friends. I know a lot of people.
But it had to be like every black man. There was like far and few black men, and they all knew each other. Like, not even joking. But sorry, continue.
But there definitely were black people there, including my cousins who I ran into while I was there, which was cool. But it was a lot of fun. Don't believe everything you see on TikTok in terms of like, oh, Coachella sucks. I would never go to Coachella. Coachella seems like a social experiment. It was fun. I did not see. Granted, I did not camp. I stayed in an Airbnb, so that might have been a differentiate like another factor. But it was so much fun. But in terms of movies that I have been watching, I got to pull up my AMC A-list. I meant to see Drop this weekend, but I was too tired and I was getting sick, so I did not see it. This past week, no, let me start from the beginning. Not the beginning, but like from when we last caught up. Saw The Woman in the Yard, which we've talked about that already.
Oh, other movies. Sorry, I forgot to mention. Me and Alex saw Novocaine.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, I think I talked about that the last time we were here, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
You saw it, and I was like, I really want to see it.
That did not come out. Yes. So, audience, we talked about Novocaine. That's why we're not going to talk about it right now. But just so you know.
But it was fun. It was a fun movie.
It was fun. Yeah,
it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Very graphic at times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Many people left the theater. I noticed that because I was like, I have to go pee. Came back, like 3 people left, and I was kind of waiting for them to come back, and I was like, oh, they walked out.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy to see like how many people like left.
Oh, because they couldn't take it?
Well, just because it was like I think as it went on, eventually like people were just hitting their breaking point on it to just be like, I can't do it. Which I'm like, I understand. Like, I'm sorry.
Did I talk about Opus with you guys?
No. What's
no,
Opus?
I've been hearing though that like I haven't heard bad things about the movie. I have been hearing people be like, if you've seen other movies of its ilk, of like stuff like Get Out or Us or something similar to that, like you've seen the movie. Like it's another movie about Black trauma dealing with white people. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, that's disappointing.
I wouldn't say it was necessarily about that. Now, Io Adebiri, who is the lead in the movie, she happens to be Black, and she does happen to experience traumatic things in the movie, and she is trying to get out. But I wouldn't say that it's like about Black trauma. But I thought it was a fun movie, and then I saw that people were dogging it, and it was getting bad reviews. But I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a standard like culty, tried to escape, that kind of movie. It wasn't any like, I don't think there was anything that made it worse than your standard, but than what you would expect out of those types of movies. And I thought not John Malkovich. What's his name?
Yeah, it's John Malkovich.
Oh, okay. I thought he played a fun character in this like old 80s pop star. And that was kind of a fun role that I haven't seen him in before. Locked. I saw the movie Locked.
That movie looks interesting. Was it good?
It was another one that was pretty fun. With Bill Skarsgård. He plays this guy, kind of like a deadbeat dad, and he's like down on money, and he's like a gambler, like not a gambler, but like he just doesn't have any money. And he his car is in the shop, and so he's like basically like breaks into this one car and then ends up getting locked in it, and the rich guy who owns it is basically like playing games with him in this high-tech car that he's equipped for him to not get out of it.
Yeah, it reminds me of Phone Booth. Have you ever seen that movie? Where it's like a guy down on his luck being trapped by another person and at their whim. If you haven't seen Phone Booth, great movie. Love that film.
Yeah, I remember that.
It stars Colin Farrell and Kiefer Sutherland.
Okay. But I recommend Locked. I do recommend Locked. Death of a Unicorn. I really liked.
Was
that
it good?
movie.
I want to see it.
It was good. It was so fun. I really enjoyed it, and I watched it in Dolby, or no, I watched it in Prime. Like, you know how AMC has their version of Dolby Cinema called Prime.
Yeah.
I watched it in that, and it was just a fun movie. Simple concept. They hit a unicorn on the side of the road. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we talked about this the trailer a few weeks ago, I think, actually, for that movie.
Yeah, The Luckiest Man in America, a movie about, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this story. This guy, you know the game show Press Your Luck.
Yeah, I remember the controversy with. Well, that happened before I was born, but I remember watching it on shows and like stuff like that. Them talking
It was
about
in like the 70s or 80s. This guy, he went on Press Your Luck and he basically studied the show. So he knew the combination, he knew the patterns so that he wouldn't hit the whammies, which is like you lose all your money when you hit the whammies on the show. And basically he went on the show and was earning the most amount of money that you could ever that anyone had ever earned on the show. And it became this whole controversy. It starred Paul Walter Hauser, Walton Goggins, Maisie Williams.
Walton Goggins is having a year, man. Well, he's having a time. Like he's been in the prime of his career. He's in everything.
Yeah. He's everywhere. Johnny Knoxville was also in it as well.
Random.
Yeah.
But not surprising. That man just pops up.
And I like him when he's in movies. He's actually a pretty decent actor.
Right?
Considered.
When he's not being asinine, yes.
But it was good. It was very much like a dramatized version of the story. And they even say that at the beginning. They're like, this is a dramatic retelling of this true story or whatever.
I wonder if they picked that up from I also during our hiatus I watched all of Apple Cider Vinegar, the Netflix show about the girl who was like a health and wellness influencer and faked her cancer diagnosis to be to sell like health and wellness products and stuff, and starring Caitlin Dever, who's in Last of Us 2 actually currently right now. So she's doing well as well with her career. But she, it was actually pretty good. But every episode starts with this is a dramatic retelling of everything that's happening. The names and events have been changed for dramatic purposes. Like every single episode they say that, and I'm like, oh, okay.
And then the last movie that I watched this past weekend, everybody's talking about it. Sinners.
I'm dying to see that.
I'm debating, and Alex, I don't know if you're free this weekend or not. I'm debating getting the gang together to go watch it together as like a group movie night.
Have me there virtually in spirit.
I'll put you in my pocket in my phone. Just put you right here.
Okay, there we go. But it was so good. It's worth all the hype that everyone's talking about right now. Watch it in IMAX. My
coworker told me that too, who's seen it as well.
Yeah, because there are you have the full IMAX scenes and you have the scenes where it goes back to the normal ratio, but it's really good. Normally I'm not the type to be like, oh, go see it in IMAX, but this one I recommend go see it in IMAX.
Also, I need to say this as the resident Christian person on this podcast to all my Christian folks out there. Listen, as the person outwardly talking about, all right, Jonathan, I don't like to put your religious stuff out there, okay, unless you say it. But Jonathan's Christian as well. But I'm just gonna say this right now because I've been seeing this. I'm very much on like Christian TikTok, and I've been seeing this, and it's been annoying the hell out of me. Let me tell you this right now: if you take your Christian ass to the damn theater, buy a ticket, get popcorn, and sit your ass down in that damn theater to watch a movie entitled Sinners, and have the nerve to then go to the damn internet talk about that didn't agree with my spirit. That felt demonic, bitch. The movie's called Sinners, and you don't tell me you didn't see no trailers or nothing, because the only reason you in there is because all the other black people were talking about Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, so I know you saw that there were vampires in this fucking movie. Shut up!
I didn't know the monsters were vampires.
Sorry. That's on me.
See why we yell at you about spoilers, Jerome?
That's fair. I got really amped up into the speech.
No, I completely understand your amp because it's ridiculous. It's like when people go to see any type of horror film and they're like, "Well, I didn't think it would be this bloody." It's a horror film.
I'm being dramatic, but seriously though,
but it's bringing me back to like a year and a half ago when The Color Purple and the Wonka movie were coming out, and people were like, "Man, I didn't know this was a musical." When they started singing, I was like, "What? Y'all don't look at least like look up what you're about to see before you go spend your hard-earned money on it, and if not, you don't like." Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
It's the same with originally when Deadpool came out, even with comedies and superhero movies. I didn't know it would be like this. I didn't know it was rated R. It says it everywhere on every poster that it's rated R. No, you should not have brought your 12-year-old child to this movie. Absolutely not. They probably told you at the ticket booth and you said it's fine.
Look, it's just a matter of like, because me and my sister talked about this, because my sister's the type of person, she's very like visual. Like she doesn't watch horror movies because they kind of sit with her and she has nightmares and things. She can't do them. Like, and that's fine. You know, everybody has their limits when it comes to horror and things like that. But when it comes to this movie in particular, sometimes Christian people like can discourage other people from supporting something because they say it's demonic and stuff. So I'm telling you now, like, set boundaries for yourself, people. Like, I have boundaries. Like, you guys know, like, I don't watch demonic stuff. Like, as far as like demon possession movies, it's not for me. I don't like it. It's not like I'm a huge belief of like spiritual things, so I won't watch it. But creature features can do. Vampires, werewolves, Frankenstein, you know, like a slasher, good slasher. Like I have like my set boundaries of things I experience and don't experience from a Christian lens. So if you know you can't handle something like Sinners, don't go. Or if you do go, sit your ass down and shut up because you chose to go there. It's not like you had to. You don't have to go see this movie if you don't think you can handle it. My sister herself is saying from her watching the trailer, she loves Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, both. And she's like, I don't know if I want to see it because I don't know if I can handle it. Like that's why I'm going to see it, so I can give her the sit rep. But the point is, if you think you can't handle it based off trailers or based off what other people tell you, don't go. It's as simple as that. Don't go on this internet dogging this man's movie. Not on Jesus's internet.
It's Beyonce's internet.
Hers too. But all in all, go see.
I mean,
Sinners.
she's adjacent. She's like sitting there, right hand woman.
Wish I didn't know what the monsters were in the movie.
That's on me. That's my bad. That's on me.
Now you can't give a shit. Next time we tell you, hey, Jerome.
Oh no, I'll still complain,
right.
But it's not like it's unfounded complaints from you both. But I'll still complain anyway because I'm me.
Fair.
It's I'll say it's still good, Alex. There's still like
yeah, I've had to, like, a lot of people of course are horribly, showing clips on TikTok, showing things, you can watch it
and
from
then you
theaters.
swipe real fast.
Yeah, I'm like, because at first I'm like, what is this? And then I see Michael B. Jordan. I'm like, I gotta flip it, make me look like the racist because I'm passing up Michael B. Jordan all the time.
We'll pass up the black cast.
Right. And you have to, people have been saying this all up and down. You have to stay to the very end. Like you have to, after all the credits roll.
I heard that.
Oh, okay.
There are post-credit stuff.
Do you think, like, and here's my question for you, Jonathan. Do you think that this means that, because a lot of people have been theorizing that because of this movie, they're like, the world building is so interesting and great that they're like, there could possibly be like more movies, like a sequel or spin-offs or just like other expanded media from this. Did you catch that vibe when you watched the movie, or do you feel like this just works as like its own, like a movie, and then Ryan Coogler should go do other things?
Ooh. It could, and not spoiling anything. I think it could work as both. It could be a standalone, or I would, I don't know.
I feel like it's going to end up being one of those movies you have to be careful with because it's like Talk to Me with that movie.
Yeah. I think they're making a sequel of that too, right?
Yeah.
They're making a new movie now, or at least I don't think they're working on more.
They are working on a prequel. So originally, Talk to Me, they had a sequel in mind. They were like ready to because they're like, this is real cool. But then people were like, well, we want a prequel. We want this. We want that. So they're actually making like a prequel to Talk to Me and something like that. And then they're going to make a sequel. And then more kept getting added. And then people are like, well, are you making the prequel to the sequel? Like, what's going on? And it became more about what is happening next in Talk to Me than the Talk to Me movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Their newest movie is Bring Her Back. That's what I was thinking of. That's the other movie they're working on.
Oh, well, I see something. It says they revealed they had already completed principal photography on a prequel short film. Later that month, the filmmakers revealed that sequel. I don't know what this means. Sequel. Later that month, A24 announced that a sequel titled Talk to Me was in development, with the studio releasing the sequel's official logo at the same time. Okay, so there is a sequel called Talk to Me.
Interesting. Makes me think of like there's this apparently here on IMDb there's another Halloween movie, but don't worry, it's not made by an official studio. This is a fan-made film called Halloween Aftermath that's supposed to be a continuation of the 2018 Hollywood reboot made by like some fans of that series. But it looks professionally done, looks really good. So like it's like, oh well, I guess if you want more Halloween, there you go. But it's not an official Halloween release, so to speak, from like, you know, an official like studio. But that's fine. I do feel bad now. I don't know. Like, Alex, do you want some ice cream or something? Like do you want like want like some food or something like that? Now I feel bad that I spoiled that for you.
You make a joke, but I would love ice cream.
But when
y'all
go
joke,
see
I'll
the
get
movie,
you some ice cream. We live 15 minutes away from each other. I would gladly get you some ice cream.
When y'all go see the movie, buy her some ice cream or a snack or whatever.
Yeah, buy me ice cream for the movie.
I'll get you ice cream. What ice cream do you want?
We'll get an ice cream at the theater. I can get ice cream at the theater.
There you go. We'll pick up.
I like the crunch. You know the candy bar crunch. I like.
Oh yeah,
the
like frozen crunch one, like Crunch Bar or whatever.
I enjoy that.
I like my thing lately at the movie theater has been the ice cream sandwiches.
It's getting warmer, so that like coolness is nice.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, my thing, I used to be a fiend for was the ice cream Snickers bar. I used to munch them down. When we worked at IMAX, I used to buy one like every shift to get like that and the Twix ice cream bar. Yeah, once we started selling ice cream, we had the Snickers one and the Twix one. Used to eat them up. I
don't think I've ever had ice cream bar there. I, for a while, was obsessed with the Reese's Klondike bars. I used to just get those from my house.
Ooh.
Yeah, those were like so good. I was obsessed with those. Ice cream's great.
Yeah, I love ice cream.
Any other updates, Jonathan?
That's about it. I know
also, quick update for my life. I'm sorry, I didn't give you my life update. I went to Vegas, so that was fun. Went for the National Association of Broadcasters conference for my job, so I was actually there really going to work. But, you know, in between the times of being at the conference, which the conference was great, by the way. If you haven't been and you're looking to be a producer or looking to get into the film industry from more of like a background standpoint, it's a great experience to go, because that's all who's there is producers, people like, you know, tech to show off new camera equipment, new editing software. A lot of the panels were about AI, which was interesting. And it kind of helped me kind of get a better view on, because, you know, as people who are creators and artists, their first thought is, oh, like the higher ups don't give a shit about us. They just want to use AI to replace us. I could tell you from experience of actually being at those panels, talking to some professionals in some of the networking places, you'll be surprised how many producers actually are still trying to find ways to use AI and still be respectful to creators. I think they haven't figured it out yet. Like, I don't think we're close to figuring it out yet, but it's like I've been saying, like, AI is not the problem. The problem is the few producers and the loudest producers who are trying to abuse AI. But AI as a tool has already been being utilized in movies and television already, but it's the matter of how advanced it's getting. It's getting to a point now where it's the balance needs to be figured out on how to still use this tool as a tool, but not shortchange writers, actors, directors, so on and so forth. So, but the conference itself was great. I was glad to be there. I got to see one of the editors for Dune Prophecy, break down editing Dune, like an episode that he edited, and the editor for Gladiator, one of the two, was there as well. For the editor for Gladiator 2 was there breaking down a few scenes from Gladiator 2, so that was really cool. And then Vegas itself was fun. It was all right. Like, I've never been to Vegas before, so it was an exciting time. I feel like it's not like once you do the strip though the first time, I feel like if you're not a gambler or you're not into going to like strip clubs or whatever, or seeing like a burlesque show or something like that, or showgirl show, there's not really much else for you to do outside of drink, maybe. That's pretty much it.
You go to Madame Tussauds.
That's true.
Vegas.
We did see we didn't go into Madame Tussauds, but we did see it, and I was like, hey.
Although not, I guess what. Anyway, I don't want to.
But yeah, so
because
that's
I technically.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. We're cutting out this part. It's fine.
Okay, good. No, we can put this part in. I guess a work update for me is that I'm in a new position at my company. I work from home now.
Oh, do you work fully from home now?
Mm-hmm. Although I can go into I still have my office on site, so I still go in there occasionally, but I work mostly from home.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I bet that helps for like auditions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In fact, I like recently was able to do my neighbor, he writes and he is working on a movie right now, and I was able to like be a part of it and then just work later on.
But yeah. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
great.
my life update. Went to Vegas.
I've been seeing a lot of Vegas TikToks though, of where like Vegas ends. And some people have been like, oh, I live at the edge of Vegas, and they show like their house, their yard, and then over their stone wall, it's just desert for miles and miles and miles and miles.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's crazy.
When you're flying in, you can see it, like how Vegas really is like its own
It's
little
just like a
area,
square,
and
but
then
yeah,
it's just
like
desert past that.
miles. And it's just insane to have that, like, you just have a stone wall as your. They don't have like normal fences. I don't know why. I'm sure there's a reason. Coyotes, animals, probably. And just to like look over, and it's just like pure. Probably at nighttime, it's freaky to see pure darkness.
Thinking of craziness, that is Vegas. Movie theaters. It's getting crazy out there. Most recently, for those that are not in the know, you may have heard it in the opening, but the Minecraft movie recently came out about, I think, like 2 weeks ago at this point. By the time this comes out, it'll have been 2 weeks, 2 or 3. And
I think
for
almost
those who don't,
3. Oh, sorry. Almost 3 as of right now. I think it'll be 3 by the time this comes out.
Okay. So for those who don't know, the Minecraft movie has been a raving success. Tons of money has been flowing to Minecraft because, of course, it's Minecraft. It's one of the biggest gaming brands of all time. Currently, it's doing very well. I didn't pull up the box office it's received so far, but I think it had a like amazing first opening like box office, like a whopping like hundreds of millions, I think, somewhere around there. And honestly, like let's see, what does it say? Like so far, just in like the UK, for example, 5.3 million, to leading to like this past weekend, leading to like 60.2 million just in the UK alone. And then let me see, can I see? Here we go, Box Office Mojo. That's what I was looking for. So currently, so far as we know, it's made $162,000, like over $162,000, $1 million opening weekend. After opening in 4,263 theaters, and currently, do I have a current? Yeah, to date, currently it is not including today at the day of this recording. It has made $349 million so far, domestically. So that's insane. So it's doing very well, but the biggest news topic that people are talking about outside of how much money it's made is the fact that also it has led to a TikTok trend that has gone way too damn far. For those who don't know, in the Minecraft video game, there's a thing called a chicken jockey in which you can ride, like it'll be like a zombie riding a chicken. It's a thing that is very rare to find in the game, but it is a thing, and it's a very popular thing in the game. Well, they decided to include that specific meme into the movie, of course, because it's the Minecraft movie. Why would you not, right? And it's led to a trend in which, mainly perpetrated by teenagers, screaming at the top of their lungs at the screen to mimic Jack Black's character, who does the same thing, saying the word chicken jockey, and then proceeding to go insane at the movie theater. How insane? Throwing popcorn, getting up in costume, throwing sodas, full sodas, candy, and in one theater in particular, even going as far as to assault movie staff, in which an usher was literally body slammed onto a staircase, like upon trying to go up there to quiet down a group of teenagers. So much so that a few theaters have had police officers come in to have to arrest people. Some screenings have literally just stopped the show entirely and made people exit out the theater before before the movie's over. It's gotten insane. So today, we wanted to talk about not only this Minecraft situation, but also just the craziness of theaters in general, because the question being asked currently, coming off of this craziness in the Minecraft movie, is how did we get here? There used to be a time where even with the craziness that is like stuff like Avengers movies, it was always from a respectful standpoint of, hey, we're here to watch a movie together. Not, we're not here to go cuckoo bananas over anything. We're just here to like enjoy the movie together. And if we like hoot and holler, it's only during opportune times. This is on a whole other level. And so the question a lot of media outlets and stuff has been asking is, who's to blame? Why are we here? How did this happen? Because it can't just be just that Minecraft just makes kids that crazy. Like the fact that an entire generation of kids and people, and even some adults to a degree as well, like feel like it's okay to do this and leave these theaters in a state of ruin, like with just popcorn everywhere, candy and soda everywhere, says something about where we're at currently in our societal place a little bit. So I've done a lot of talking. Jonathan, I'll let you start. What are your thoughts on the Minecraft situation, and then also just the madness of theater crowds that it would get this far?
I think some of it has to, video game influences are a real thing. I studied that in school. How psychologically, what a child sees and does, and how they interact with things on screen will affect them in their daily life as they operate in the world. But I also think that it has to do with, and also because this movie, as big as it is, a lot of movies nowadays are not getting that big blockbuster treatment, especially movies that are geared towards kids. Most of these movies are either on streaming or don't exist. So now these instances are more far and few between, because not as many of these types of movies are getting released. But I don't know. I haven't dug that deep into this particular case, because anytime I see a video on it, I scroll. Mainly, maybe it's also because I haven't gotten a chance to see the Minecraft movie as well, so I don't want any spoilers. But also on the side of just movie theater etiquette in general, ever since the dawn of time, I feel like movie theater etiquette has been ever evolving, and people always find ways to act crazy. When cell phones were introduced into the world, that was one barrier that we had to over. First, it was probably pagers back in the day. I don't know. People would get annoyed when you turn off your pager. Well, first it was the down in front, and then it was the kids making out. I don't know, in the movie theater. Remember Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman? He got arrested at a movie theater for doing some a lewd act.
God.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I remember that. It
Oh.
just popped back into my head.
R.I.P.
here.
R.I.P.
Dead.
Yeah. Why'd you say it like that?
Because I forget who's dead and who's alive, and that's just not me being funny, people. I genuinely text these two men quite often. Is this person alive? Are they dead? And often they'll be like, yeah, they died about 20 years ago, Alex. Or they're like, no, why did you think they were dead? I think you're confusing them with this person. So it's always a shock to me. I always have a minute of mourning because I'm constantly remembering people are dead.
Or surprise and delight because you find out they're alive.
That's true too. Or sad because certain people, I had wished already passed.
But yeah, I feel like as long as this medium exists and as long as there are people who watch it, there will always be new ways for people to act up. And now, especially since we have access to cell phones and media and technology, people are always going to act. I told you guys about that story about when I watched the Amy Winehouse movie, and there was a lady sitting next to me. She was texting the whole time, and then at one point during the movie, she picked up the phone and started talking on the phone. And that's when I finally told her, hey, this is distracting. Can you please stop? Yeah, people just don't know how to act, or they do know how to act and just choose not to be considerate of others. So yeah, that's my thing on the whole movie theater debacle. And now, like, as coming from three people who used to work in a movie theater, I feel like I'm hyper sensitive to when people act up at a movie theater, especially when they pull out their phone. You could be on the lowest brightness possible on your phone when you pull it out, and I will still be distracted and notice it if I'm in a row above you. That's how hyper aware I am of when people, pull out their phones at a movie theater.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Alex, what are your thoughts?
I think it's entitlement at this point. Because a lot of times I see, and it's not just with movie theaters, it's a lot of places, they'll be like, well, I paid for this. I could do this. Or, like with people with their screaming kids, it's like, oh, well, we paid to have the kids. They're like, yeah, but you're now ruining this experience for everything. When the kids start talking really loudly, teenagers do this, they talk loudly, they're talking to their friends. Well, we paid our ticket just like you. Right. But there's a bunch of us. It's not just you in this theater. And this has always been something that's occurred because I remember as a kid, me, my mom, and my sister went to go see, what's that movie with Will Smith and the robots? iRobot. Yes. There we go. That shouldn't have been so hard, but it was. iRobot, and the movie had to stop in the midst of it because literally right next to me, this woman and her friends were just talking so loudly, and some guy in front of us kept shushing, and she's like, you can't shush me. She's like, I'm not going to be shushed. And I was just like, oh my God. And I'm like 13 at this time or something of that age. And so the guy leaves, and she clearly knows he's getting the manager. She's like, go get the manager. I want to talk to the manager. Bring back the manager. This time the projectionist has heard everything, so the movie stopped. Manager has to come in, tell her and her friends to leave, but she's literally standing next to me just screaming. And I'm just like, can we go? Can we get a refund? Like, at this point, I'm like, I don't really want to finish the movie. I don't even remember what happened at the end of the movie. I had to watch it, like, later. And it's the entitlement of people who think, like, well, I paid for this. This is how I'm allowed to act. This is how I'm allowed to behave. And it's like, no. First of all, there are multiple people who just paid the same amount as you, who are around, same as you, amount as you. There is an etiquette, a social contract we all sign when we are in a tight, confined space trying to enjoy a media together. It is one thing to clap and cheer, like with as we were discussing earlier, the Marvel movies, when people saw, certain characters were alive again, or when they died, it was the clapping and the cheering. And with Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and like all those franchises always have those moments where people are like, yay, and you just clap. Totally fine. But it's going past that, where you're behaving so way in theaters that they have to have cops, where people are getting assaulted, where it's literally destruction of property, where it's no longer about like this is the enthusiasm of the movie. It's destruction, what you're doing. And there's a hard line that you can jump over. If they were throwing popcorn around, I'd be fucking annoyed as an usher. I was annoyed as an usher when they did that. But like, all right, we got to take an extra minute to clean up, but it's not that harmful. It's more of an inconvenience to annoyance. When you're throwing soda around, now it's becoming more of an inconvenience to this is slowly becoming property damage because now all the seats are wet. And we can't clean them up in time for the theater. To assaulting a straight up usher, slamming them on the staircase, throwing things at people's heads, from sodas to candy to popcorn to personal items. I've seen people throw those little fake plastic Minecraft swords at like,
yeah, like the foam ones.
Yeah, or like those boxes at people's heads as they're cheering. And also, I've seen people get on other people's shoulders to imitate the chicken zombie jockey thing.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Yeah, people on people's shoulders.
You become a straight liability to the theater, and they're not going to put up with that crap. When you have to get cops called on you, so many theaters I've seen now are literally stopping the movie in the middle of the movie before the scene, being like, hey, if you do this, we're going to call the cops on you. Everybody in this theater is going to be held accountable. To have your movie interrupted like that, you're no longer doing this for the movie. You're trying to see if, maybe we can get away with it. No, this is no longer about the movie. This is no longer about being excited for the movie. This is just destruction. And it's the entitlement that you think you can keep getting away with this, or the entitlement of like, I paid my money, I can do what I want. Absolutely not. And I think that's a big issue.
For context, there's already been signs made by, this is one from Cineworld, the movie theater. It reads, any form of antisocial behavior, especially anything that may disturb other guests, such as loud screaming, clapping, and shouting, will not be tolerated. Anyone who is found to be acting in this manner will be removed from the screening and not entitled to a refund. Which I think is crazy that people were asking for refunds. Like the people who were the perpetrators. It's like, you're the reason the movie stopped.
Exactly.
No, you're not getting your damn money back. Are you out your damn mind? That'd be like if you if you were in the middle of a gunfight that you started, you killed a person, but you also got shot, and you got the nerve to go like, all right, now call the ambulance. I'm not calling shit. You're the reason for the tragedy.
Actually, that reminds me back in 2016 when everybody was dressing up as clowns. Again, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with people. These guys dressed up as clowns in Australia, scared their one friend. That one friend had a knife, stabbed his buddy, and was shocked that he got stabbed by his buddy. You dressed up as a murderous clown, came charging at him at night in Australia. They are a different breed down there, alright? And then got surprised when you got stabbed. You got lucky that he didn't leave your ass on the street, or that thankfully he did call an ambulance. He stayed with you because you were still his friend. But like, how are you gonna be like, yeah, I was really surprised that he stabbed me. Mm-hmm. Really? Because I feel like that's a pretty normal outcome of this situation.
Like, it's ridiculous. And honestly, it's like I saw one person like on TikTok talking about it, and their theory was like, it's like we're in a weird generation of teens and young adults who are the social media generation. They literally have not known a world where they not are on camera at all times. Like, potentially. Like, not necessarily like in a literal sense, but potentially you're on camera at all times.
And so the idea would make people act better.
Well, here's the thing. It's like the idea, like, we're in a generation, though, of people who are willing to sell their soul for virality at a moment's notice. They will gladly embarrass themselves if it means they can go viral. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll deal with the repercussions later. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not...
And they will certainly...
Yeah, like, and so it's like, it's very much a thing of like, yeah, that was stupid, but like, it got like 3,000 views though. So it's like, but they don't think it through because, you know, they're living in the moment. They're not thinking about, and then like, I don't know, 10, 20 years when like you're still on your Facebook page because you forgot about it and some employer sees it and they decide, oh, I don't know about this person. It's like, yeah, sure, it was 10, 20 years ago, but you'll still get judged by it because it's the internet. That's how it works.
which
Mine
is like
was-
oh,
sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, which is the sentiment that I feel like I hear from a lot of like millennials and older, in that they always say, I'm glad social media and all that stuff didn't exist when I was a kid, because I do not want my formative years to be documented like that. I don't need, me uploading. Like I did not need that access as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like what I said earlier, and I say this in a joking way, and just to put it out there, is that when I was a kid, we just did legit crimes. Steal something, or like throw a rock through a window, or things like that. It was like bad, illegal, bad, just again bad. But it was like we didn't have to go crazy, because there wasn't people watching us to go crazy. There wasn't people like watching to be like, oh, well, everybody's doing this and everybody's doing this. Back then, all my friends are wearing boots with the fur. And if you weren't seen at them with
bottom jeans,
if you weren't at school seen with it, that didn't matter. But now you have to be at home, and you have to be seen doing this. You have to be seen doing that. You have to go to the theater and be doing that and this. And it's like, it's so much. And it's also making kids like weirdly conservative too, because they're on camera all the time. Because they're like, well, I don't want to be cringe. I don't want to be cringe. And it's like, your life is so boring or so like destructive. Like, there's really no medium ground for y'all. Mm-hmm. You gotta really just like,
yeah. Here's a video. This is from Fox 13. It's the best video I could find of the aftermath of the theaters for some of this. And like, here's an event of it like happening in theaters, but like toilet paper being thrown up into the sky. That's a whole popcorn bucket. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what's left. Like, it's just crazy.
Those popcorn buckets are hard.
And that looked like one of the nice theaters too, like the nice seats.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. It's like it's a mixture of like a lack of consideration and also a like, I want to be famous, like, or like, because it reminds me of like, remember whenever like, because back in our day, as old people as we are, like the only thing I can think was equivalent of this was like the Harlem Shake, right? Like, people were doing Harlem Shake shit in like public. I mean, the idea was you could go into like, the privacy of your own home, but like, or your dorm room, whatever. But there were some people who did it out in public, just get a whole group of people together and do just goofy, crazy stuff during the Harlem Shake, even if it's not necessarily dancing. It might just be like, I don't know, kicking over mailboxes or some shit. Like,
that's true.
But that was harmless.
But it was harmless because it was done like out in like where nobody else was around. I mean, it wasn't harmless to your social standing,
not
but
the
it was harmless in the like the physical realm. Yes. Like, this is on a whole other level, and it's kind of, and like, to your point, I think there's like, the thing about movie etiquette too is I think people, you're right, Alex, that is very much like, people are more entitled now more so than ever, because I think before the pandemic people were like it's like I'm just here to watch a movie, and that's pretty much the attitude. After the pandemic, I feel like people like take it for granted now, because they realize, like, especially with streaming and everything being so prevalent, movie theaters aren't valued anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, I come to the movies just because I want to come with my friends. Like, that's how they look at it. And it's like, no, you come to the movies to watch a movie. It is like the equivalent of going to a play or going to a ballet or going to a concert. Like, you're there to watch a show. It's a show that's pre-recorded, so, there's no physical person there, but it's still the same thing. And the same way you wouldn't act this crazy at a concert unless they ask you, unless the concert encourages that. But otherwise, like, you wouldn't like do something like this where you're like throwing stuff on the stage or assaulting people for no reason or whatever. Like, the same reason, like, it's the same way here of like, the movie theater should be treated with the same level of respect, and they don't see it that way.
Going on that, it's like when we had our theater and say Star Wars. People were surprisingly, or like, at least the shows I had to deal with, people were respectful, and we're like, hey, we know you're excited and you want to talk about this movie, but we're like, wait until you're outside these gates, because there's people all along that ramp waiting. They're waiting for the movie experience that you just had. And people understood that. They were like, okay, never did we have somebody be like, oh yeah, that asshole came out of the theater and just spoiled everything. No, people were like, we're going to wait because we were so excited to see this movie and we watched it. We were so happy. People waited till they were outside our gates and then they talked about the movie. And then those people in line who had lined up for 12 hours got to experience this. Nowadays, we were just talking about Sinners, I've had to, every time I see it on TikTok, I have to keep scrolling past so many videos because people are recording it and just posting it on social media, trying to drop, oh, here's a spoiler or here's the big secret everybody keeps talking about.
People want to be the first to...
Yeah. Absolutely. People want to be the first to tell you all about it. And it's like going to the movies because one, it's a nice little time where I can turn off my phone, not have to worry about everything. Just can sit in the theater, have my little bucket of popcorn, have my icy, which I don't get ices outside of the theater. So it's my own little treat there too. And I just want to have a nice time watching this movie and getting, submersed in the story. And now I can't. And I would have been so pissed if during the time that Star Trek, The Hobbit, movies that I really did love that were big box office, big blockbuster films came out after COVID. Because nowadays you can't enjoy it like a big movie like that anymore. Can you imagine the Marvel movies? All of them coming out in times of this. I mean, people would have been throwing shit everywhere all the time. That would have been a bitch to clean up. That was already a bitch to clean up.
Yes, true. And it was already hard.
It was so hard.
Remember the times when we would have to, the movie would be scheduled wrong. So we barely had any turnaround time. The movie would be longer than the turnaround time that they had allotted for us. And so y'all know there were times when the food and the trash just got swept under the seat versus actually got cleaned up because there was no time to actually clean it up.
Mm-hmm. You just took that big broom and slid everything right on the seat. Just cleaned up the stairs. Nobody cared. Nobody knows.
Yep. See, but here's the thing too, because thinking of when we worked at IMAX, I remember there was one donor, for example, because thinking of entitlement, because it's not just kids, it's also adults too. Because there was one guy who was a donor for the theater, and I knew who he was every time because he always came in a kilt. I don't know why, but he loved kilts. But he would also, when he would get into the theater, take off his shoes and just walk around barefoot around the whole theater, to the bathroom, to the concession stand, back into the theater. And in my head, I was just in what world? I know you think because you give a lot of money to this theater that you are own special privileges or something, but you don't. You're like everybody else. Where are your shoes?
Oh my God. There was a donor. I don't know if you guys ever had to deal with them or not. I believe some woman, she donated, she got her name, which by the way, wasn't as expensive as people think. Her name on a plaque on the back of one of the seats. And she's like, oh, she introduced herself and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Hi. She's like, oh yeah, I donated. My name's on one of the chairs. And I'm like, okay, cool. And she's like, do you know which chair it is? And I'm like, no, we don't have a spreadsheet of that, man.
There's 300 chairs in this theater.
She's like, yeah, she was just very oh, so you guys don't keep track of that or something? And I'm like, no. I'm like, you're welcome to look around the theater.
Somebody does, but not us. The ushers know.
Not at it was nighttime. I think it was me and Jonathan once again alone.
Because that's what I would have been like. I've been like, well, we don't. Maybe somebody does, but not me.
Yeah, I was like, no, not really. I'm like, you're welcome to take a look. I was not going to offer.
I when you were mentioning first of all, I forgot about when we would tell people, hey, don't talk about the movie until you exit or until you are outside.
Yeah.
Because that would be a real thing. And I almost wish they did that for movies nowadays. Put something, I don't know, on the screen or something. You know that guy at AMC where he's like, don't text, don't talk, don't ruin the movie. And he has that real gravelly voice.
Yeah.
I wish he would also say and when you leave, be mindful and don't talk about spoilers. When you see another crowd from another theater exiting, don't say, wow, Luke Skywalker is the son of Darth Vader. I did not know that.
See,
I
and then
wish
somebody
you-
would be like, "What? He's what?"
I've never watched Star
'Cause it-
Wars, and even I know that. I know it.
Because that happened. I remember a clip from The Simpsons when that happened. when Homer's coming out the theater and he's like, "Wow, who knew Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father?" And the movie's coming in, the people coming into the next showing, they're like, "Ah."
Like,
Reminds
thanks
me
a
of
lot,
that-
jerkwad.
That meme of when the books were coming out for Harry Potter, and a dude drove by, gave the spoiler for Dumbledore in the Half-Blood Prince, and like he's just like, "Hey, this happens," and this girl's like, "No," because she was in line to get the book all day. She had been it was nighttime, and he just spoiled it for her and everything. I was like, "That's just mean. That's just mean."
But yeah, people need to be more mindful, as not only when they're in the theater, but when they're just in the building, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially because although to your point, what they should do so that she's not wasting our time trying to sell us on going to the movie theater when we're already at the damn movie theater. Have Nicole Kidman do it. Just be
Right.
like, because here we don't spoil movies. AMC, don't spoil the movie.
AMC, I love you. I absolutely love you. But what is the point after the trailer show? What is the point of showing the dude who throws the popcorn up and catches it in his mouth and does that dance sequence? What is the point of that ad? And what is the point of the Nicole Kidman ad?
Oh, the first one's Coca-Cola.
Yeah, the first one's a Coca-Cola ad.
Okay,
really.
but that ad is truly too long. I understand.
No, it is.
Paid for it.
No,
It
yeah.
is too
But
long.
that ad is
It's definitely
truly
too long.
And they need
And then
to
Nicole
highlight
Kidman comes behind him to be like, "Hey, also, you know what y'all should do? Go to an AMC theater." It's like, I'm in an AMC theater.
My problem with that Coca-Cola ad is, one, yes, you are correct. It is very much too long. But secondly, she's the only one holding a glass cup in the theater. Like, everybody else has their little, like, paper cups.
Because
but
she
has
brought
a
her
glass
own. Okay?
like,
she brought
that
it in
is
her purse with the soda
crazy.
in it.
It's open container,
But the fact
too.
that the fact that I go to AMC every week and am just now putting together that's a Coca-Cola ad, maybe that ad needs to highlight Coca-Cola a little better.
Or
Like,
maybe you're just so angry about the Coca-Cola ad and the
Maybe.
AMC theater
You
ad
didn't
so
see-
close together.
Coke
that it
is
feels
all
like it's-
over the damn thing.
Yeah, that it feels like it's just all too much, and you're
No.
just like, this needs
he's
to
doing
stop.
dancing in Puerto Rico. What does that have to do with Coca-Cola?
Because when you drink a Coke, you have a Coke and a smile, and then you bust a move. You take trips to Puerto Rico. That's what it has to do with it. Sometimes it makes you want to drive fast, like Fast and Furious. When you have a good Coke and it hits the back of your throat real good, and you're just like, you know what, I want to drive fast. That's Coke.
And you know what's better than kissing the girl at the end of the movie? Shoving a Coke right in her face.
Yeah, for real. No, she does that to him. He tries to
No,
kiss her.
he
puts
does
the
it to
Coke
her.
in his face because she's
No,
like,
no,
I wanna
he
drink
does
this
it to
Coke."
her. Because he pushes the bottle into her face, so she takes it and drinks it, and then it's her. I memorize that ending because it bothers me, the glass. Because I also think about, I'm like, that's an open container. Do you know how much shit is in the air of the theater? that place, coming from somebody
People
again who has
coughing.
worked at a theater, there is no circulation in that place. The air conditioners are shit in the theaters. They feel cold because only air is coming in. No air is leaving. Okay, there's a reason there's like a staleness in the air.
But
Don't know have open containers there.
But I am low-key jealous of that guy who is in the ad, because I'm like, ooh, if I would have booked that ad, I
That was
I
a good.
know I
Yeah,
would have been getting
it's a good
residuals.
gig.
I know.
Every person's seen him across the country. Like,
AMC
mandatory.
But I
holds on
wonder-
to them too.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's a thing of, with the TV mascots like Flo for Progressive, or the Trivago guy, or the Hotels.com guy, if those people are like typecast, so it's harder for them to get other roles because everyone knows them as that one specific role.
Depends
or
on
commercial.
their role, because like for example, the AT&T girl, most people know her for AT&T, but she has a very successful career as a voice actress, and that helped her then launch her career into being in movies and television. She hasn't been in a bunch of movies and television. Most of her stuff is doing cartoons, mostly a Squirrel Girl, But I'm like, she has a very successful career outside of AT&T. AT&T is just like the thing that like pays the bills. The rest is what she wants to be doing, I imagine. So it's like, but of course she has to like, it's kind of, you got to be sneaky because people just know you as AT&T person. So maybe that's what they do is like go into voice work so that they can fill out their portfolio and then just like sneak into some live action things from that point forward.
You know what I also think? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because I imagine if you're watching a movie and you see that guy in that movie from the commercial, you'd be like, wait, this guy was just in that. So I don't know. Maybe it might be a little harder.
It worked out for, is it Isaiah Mustafa who's like the Old Spice guy, then he was in It Chapter 2, and now he's in a bunch of things going for after that.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Alex, you were going to say?
No, I was also thinking, I'm like, another thing I think, going back to crimes when I was younger, another thing I think for like at least kids that they don't do anymore is they don't sneak into other movies. Because when I was a kid, we behaved because we were going to spend our whole day at the theater with $20 in our pockets and we were going to see multiple movies. So we behaved. We made sure not to cause any, we were like watching it because we didn't need the usher to come and be like, what are you doing? You know? What's going on? Nowadays, like, kids only go to see, like, they go to see a movie and that's it.
It's because they have no imagination. Because, like, yeah, like think about it. The ushers aren't watching every single door. You could easily go to another movie in the same day.
The ushers don't often care either.
Except when you do sneak into a movie, don't take a prime seat before the movie starts.
Yeah, take a seat that you imagine nobody's going to sit in.
Yes, because I think I told you guys the story, but when I saw the second Spider-Verse movie, it looked like a grandmother and grandson, and they were one of them was sitting in the spot that I had reserved, and it was a full movie. It was a smaller theater, and it was a full crowd. So I had no choice but to be, otherwise I would have just like sat in another seat, but I had no choice but to be like, hey, sorry, I think that's my seat. And it wasn't that they had taken my spot. It was that the couple had taken their spot. So they had to move over. So this couple, they snuck into the movie theater, and they literally just, after they saw that the grandmother and grandson had to move because I took their spot, I guess they felt guilty and just moved to the front because they realized they took a prime spot. So
but it's also super now easy days where you could just get the app and it shows you what seats aren't selected.
And look to see which seats are not.
That's what I did for The Flash. I didn't pay for The Flash. I paid for Spider-Verse and watched The Flash. And then
honestly, half the time.
Oh yeah, don't give Ezra Miller any money.
That's right. Mm-mm. And so then, but I was like, I mean, thankfully there was only 7 other people in the theater, so it really didn't matter. I could have sat anywhere. But like, but I thought about it.
I'll do that if I'm going to go see a movie alone and I'm not entirely comfortable because there's like only 2 other people in the theater. But like, they're respectfully spaced out too. We're all spaced out respectfully. If I'm like looking and all of a sudden I see somebody sitting directly next to me, I'm going to move over a few seats and know that it's unoccupied. What are you doing sitting right next to me? That's not cool.
That's creepy.
I do at least 1 seat of space between me and whoever's the opposite.
Yeah,
I try to do at least 2. Yeah, if it's full, if it's like open enough.
Or if it's like I'm in a primal spot, like dead center, I understand if you want to be like near it as close as you can. But also get the row in front of me, try back first or, something. But like, don't sit on top of me when it is a theater that is not full at all.
Here's the biggest thing about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say here's the biggest. Well, I'm changing the subject. So if you were gonna carry on,
I was changing the subject too.
No, well, if like with all this.
Well, actually, no. It was kind of about seating arrangements. Okay, there was this one girl who she got 8 up in her TikTok comments, but she posted a video saying, "Whatever happened to, like, why is it reserved seating nowadays? Like, why is it the norm? Like, what happened to just showing up to the movie theater and having it be a free-for-all? Like, you get there early and you get to actually have your own seat to yourself and you don't have to blah, blah, blah." And everyone was like, no, you're wrong on this. Reserved seating is the right way to go.
You know why? Because you have people that sneak in and take seats.
True.
More
I-
than
I-
that, also it's easier to fill in the seats too, because you have people who aren't trying to in the case of our theater, right, that we worked at, that those rows are like 20 seats minimum, like the longest ones. And if there's a seat in dead center, like you know what I mean, like instead
Like
of you
if
having to climb across like 6 or 7 people to get there, it's like, no, that seat's already taken. You could take the ones on the ends.
Yeah.
Because it's already been planned out, it's already been mapped out, and we don't have the chaos of people trying to shuffle around and figure out where they're trying to sit.
Right. Or if, you, in that sense, if you reserve, like, you don't, with pre-booking seats, you don't have to do, like, the coat on the chair method, where
Oh,
you put a
that too.
coat, where you put a coat on the chair to reserve it for your friend. You don't have to worry about that at all. It's just the seat is booked and already paid for.
But, like, in thinking of also Theater Madness stuff, like, I think there is a slippery slope to when it comes to, like, children's media in particular. Because I think that's why this is so unique and different. Because, like, with Avengers, it's for adults and kids. Like, presumably, that's the intention, is that it's supposed to be like, yeah, kids can come because they're PG-13 movies, but realistically, like, the majority of the crowd is going to be adults of varying ages, whether that be, young adults, older folks, like seniors, middle-aged adults, whatever. So the possibility of this type of thing getting this out of hand is probably less likely, because you have adults that are not afraid to, like, some adults in particular, like, you mess with, like we got buff nerds now. All right, nerds with roid rage. Like, I wish you would throw a whole goddamn bucket of popcorn in the theater. They will turn around and gladly show you why that was a mistake.
Sure.
For the rest of the runtime of that movie. Like, people get very serious when it comes to their nerd culture things. And so it's like, to that degree, I don't think we may see something like this for something like, let's say, like Fantastic Four, right? But with kids, it is like a thing where it's kind of hard, because my biggest concern when I heard about this news was that I'm like, little kids are at risk, like, of getting stuff thrown on them or stuff thrown at them, or worse, getting hurt. You know what I mean? Like, if you're on somebody's shoulders, let's say you accidentally fall back or you fall forward and there's a kid in the row in front of you or behind you, you could accidentally hurt like a child.
Yeah,
So
like we
it's-
just saw that popcorn box fly up in the air. That can hit a kid.
Mhm.
That can hit a kid if the kid's looking up and poke him in the eye.
So it's like there's that part of it too, that I'm like, I'm surprised that it, like, me, like, and it's a shame, because you've had parents now had to, like, take their kids out of school to go see the movie, like, during a matinee time, because this is mostly happening at night when, like, teenagers and young adults are, like, most available. Most of the matinee showings have been thankfully pretty quiet, but it's like, you shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to, at the leisure of whenever you can make the showtime, should be when you're seeing the movie, not making the showtime out of fear for what will happen if you go to the theater at certain times. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So here's a question: do you think there's a way to stop it? Because the thing is that they're putting up signs. Oh, we may have lost Alex again. Hope not.
I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, we lost Alex. Well, in the meantime, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to subscribe, like, favorite, and share.
The way to stop it is just to leave. That's how you stop it.
That's your way to stop it.
Yep, just get out.
Well, because in my head, I'm just like back into the conversation. Like, is there a way to stop this from happening? Because, like, they're putting up signs. They, like, movie theaters have been active of having security, like, be ready to come in there and shut it down, and just be like, look, movie's shutting down. But it's the same thing as, like, when you're, like, a teenager and the teacher comes in, like, you stop because the teacher's there, an authority figure is telling you to stop, but you don't care. You're just like, whatever. I did what I came to do. And it's like, so it's a thing where it's like, they don't care. Not really. So it's like, so the question is like, is it stoppable? Is this something that like, or although one person did make a good joke of like, their theory on how to stop this. They're like, I'll tell you how you stop it. You have full grown adults do it. We'll make a TikTok trend. Have like your average middle-aged soccer mom
then the
do
trend
it.
will end.
And then the trend becomes uncool because now soccer moms do it like, ooh, chicken jockey, woo! I'm like, my kids. Immediately it'll stop being cool the second that happens. Which I'm like, yeah, that could work.
I mean, that's like an Abbott Elementary episode. The desk topper hopper jumper.
Oh yeah, when the teachers did it, and then
Yeah.
it became uncool to do it because it's like,
no
oh, well,
longer
adults
cool.
are doing it. Oh, that's not cool anymore.
I think the only way to really stop. See, the problem is, and here's what's going to happen, is that they're going to start putting age restrictions in movie theaters. Because that's what happened at a couple, like, stores and restaurants I've seen now, where they're like, well, these kids don't know how to behave. Their parents don't know how to make them behave. They let toddlers run around, and then they're going to blame, like, teenagers. So they're like, unless you're this old, you're not allowed to go. Which ends up being the death of the restaurant or death of, a store or something.
Yeah.
Because, well, that's kind of what happened with malls. They stopped wanting teenagers to go because they're like, this is a place of businesses, blah, blah, blah. Most of your customers were teenagers running around, having lives, being mall rats. And now look at how the malls are in these years. And they were like, oh, it's COVID. No, it started happening back before COVID. The malls started dying because people were like, we don't want teenagers here. We don't want teenagers littering. People were coming to the mall all ages for fun. Yeah, some teenagers got rowdy, but those were only some teenagers. And this is what is going to happen. The few is going to ruin it for the majority. What we're going to end up seeing is having theaters being like, well, you, instead of being like 18 to buy this ticket, now you got to be 21. You're not allowed to come in without an accompanied parent. Now toddlers, children who this Minecraft movie would have been fun for. Actually, I don't know the age range for Minecraft or who it was really developed for. I don't know if it was like 14 and up or something like that.
I think the assumption is somewhere around 13, 14 was the age, like based off the movie, like how it looks and the trailers, because I haven't seen it. I think that was the age range they were aiming for, that it would still appeal to like that kind of middle school age kids. Okay.
So like that age range, when it's like probably 16-year-olds to 18-year-olds who are doing this asinine shit, they're going to blame the middle schoolers. And now the middle schoolers are not going to be able to watch the movie that was designed for them, either without a guardian or something. It's going to just screw up what is the audience it's meant for, because of, the older kids, or the younger kids are going to screw it up for the older kids. And even some adults are going to just screw it up for everybody. Mm-hmm. Because that's how it is until this ends up going too far. And then we really are going to be in the death of the theater. So unless people can get a hold of themselves, we're going to lose the theaters too. Movie theaters.
Bring back whoopings. Just say, like, just be ready at home with the belt. And just like, oh, so you think it's fun to tear up theaters, huh? All right, I'm gonna show you what's about to get tore up.
I'm against like, spanking, but there are some occasions where I'm like, gentle parenting is not enough, man. You gotta admit to yourself, gentle parent. Telling your kid no is not enough.
And the thing is, people don't realize. Well, I think people have come to realize a little bit more. I've seen the discourse online. People are starting to realize that movie theaters actually do have security cameras in many of them, like inside the actual theater. Just because it's dark in there does not mean they can't see what you're up to. So keep that in mind.
When I went to see one of them days, there was a security guard came in because a guy had snuck into the movie, I think, who was like harassing.
Ooh,
like,
sorry.
We can't hear you.
Yeah.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Like when I went to see one of them days, there was a security guard came in to escort somebody out who had snuck in, who was like causing trouble earlier outside the theater. And I'm like, listen, and that brother was on it. Like I saw him like pacing back and forth. Like but before the movie, he was constantly like vigilant, watching. So it's like, make no mistake, security is not playing these days at movie theaters. Mainly because of like, I think more so because of like shootings and things like that. But their job is also to kick out people who are causing problems in the general sense too. Make no mistake, like people are like security's ready.
I remember going to see a movie when I was like I want to say like 14 with my best friend at the time, and we had snuck into another movie theater, and there were some like rowdy boys in front of us who were exactly our age. The usher came in, was like, "Do you guys have?" It started asking like a bunch of people around them, like, "Do you have tickets?" And me and my friend, we got scared because we're like, "Oh shit, we didn't have tickets." But he didn't come and bother us because we were chill, we were calm, we were just sitting up in the back of the theater, still eating popcorn. And he's like, "All right, those people look like they belong here, or like they're not being a nuisance. We're just gonna leave them alone." Tell you, dude, don't be an ass.
Yeah. Well, if nothing else, I hope these videos come back to haunt these teenagers in their past or in their future, and like people
When
are
they're
like,
trying to
"No,
get
I know who
jobs."
you are. You one of them chicken jockey kids." Well, I was there with my son. Application denied.
Yes.
I'm just
No other
really
reason.
happy my MySpace is gone into the void.
Listen,
Never to be seen again.
there's a reason I didn't really put any much stock into my Facebook. Never had a Twitter. The most I did was do some early gaming videos on YouTube when I was a kid, and even then I didn't show my face. It was just my voice. So
I can probably I've been been a user of Twitter since like 2011, but I really started like posting here and there and casually. I've never like posted every single day on Twitter, but I started posting casually on Twitter maybe 2014, and I can say with my whole chest that if if ever I become like big enough where people are wanting to dive deep into my archives, I can safely say I don't have to scrub my Twitter because because I said some dumb stuff. Granted, I might maybe just because like
I mean,
I don't
I
want
don't
people in
know.
my
I think
business
about
like that.
It might have not
But
been controversial at the time. That's all.
It's true,
That.
because you never know. Like,
That's
listen,
true.
I think about that all the time. Where if I'm like, I wonder if I ever get famous enough, if like things I say on this podcast will ever come back.
The
to me.
podcast.
And I'm sure they will, but I'll just be like, listen, it was a different time, and also those were jokes.
Well, I recently, a couple of my coworkers know that I have TikTok, and they've found out I post TikToks of the dogs and um, of my cats. And one of my coworkers was like watching the videos, and it was of my sister's two dogs playing, and me talking about like, oh, there's a goose man in the window because some person, mind you. I was looking into their window, but it was also like 10 at night and I'm by myself outside. I'm just trying to entertain myself. Had like a full human-sized goose man through the window. Okay, I don't know what the fuck that was about. But I was like, that's a goose man, right? That's a goose man. Did not record anything else in their apartment, but I did record the goose man. And my coworker commented, was like, I recognized your voice, Alex. And then we were talking about my TikToks today because I'm like, yeah, I posted a nice little remembrance video for Cheddar. And they're like, yeah, we couldn't figure out it was you for a second, but we heard your voice. And I'm like, well, I've been told I have a distinct voice. But I'm like, yeah, you won't see me in any of my videos. You'll hear my voice. You'll definitely hear me
Wait,
my
I never even
commentary.
realized that you were never in any of your videos.
I have never been in a single one of my TikToks. Not because I'm like worried about like, actually, no, there are a couple that I've done with Cheddar, like when I first got him, when COVID was strong, that I've done. But yeah, I mainly narrate what the dogs are doing, or I'm doing something with the dogs and just talking. And I'm like, yeah, it's very simple. You won't see my face. It's not because I'm like ashamed of my TikToks. It's just because one, I'm not like too comfortable about that. I don't know why. It's weird because I'm doing this. Like I don't, it's like not like I don't put myself on YouTube, but like just the constant like attacking that happens on TikTok nowadays that I'm not comfortable with. And then also I'm like, I don't know, I'm funnier during the narration process.
Yeah,
It's like, and the dogs are cute.
So those are our thoughts on the madness of theaters. Comment below if you're watching this on YouTube, or just like message us on our like social medias or something like that if you have comments on what you think about all this stuff going on with the Minecraft situation. And or if you have other experiences that are similar, or it reminds you of from other movies that you've maybe seen or things that your friends have seen, comment below. We want to know. Tell us all about it. But before we go, as we do with every episode, socials. Jonathan, where can people find you?
You can find me at Jonathan Keys, wherever you please. You can follow us at The First Ones to Die on all social platforms. You can email us, firstones2die@gmail.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe. If you're listening to us via your favorite podcast platform, go ahead and give us a 5-star rating and review. I also forgot to mention in my updates that recently, so as you guys know, and as most people know because I talk about it all the time, I'm a Survivor fan. In recent weeks, I've been going to these Survivor watch parties at this one bar. So if you want to know when and where those watch parties are, they're a lot of fun. If you're a Survivor fan, hit me up. I'll let you know. And yeah, we'll have a great Survivor time.
Haven't you mentioned that past contestants have popped up once or twice there too as well?
Yeah, I've been to a few different watch parties around LA, and at a lot of them, because a lot of the Survivor contestants either live in LA or visit LA. Yeah. A lot of them show up to past and current contestants show up to those, which is a lot of fun.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Alex, where can people find you?
You can find me at Alex and Nobody on Instagram and on TikTok. And I'm sorry that I'm about to make this joke. It's really and nobody now. Yeah. Death jokes. I'm doing okay, I swear. You can also find me on the podcast TikTok, The First Ones to Die, where I post clips of episodes we have done, topics we may be doing, or just little commentary. Again, my little narrations and commentaries of videos, things that I am watching. Recently, I just talked about Tales from the Hood, a movie from the 90s. And
I saw your link.
Yeah.
Or saw your clip.
Yeah, I guess that's something I watch. I've been watching old stuff lately because I haven't had the mindset to watch anything new. And let me tell you, some of the stuff from the 90s half holds up, and some of it is like, whew, that would not fly nowadays. That is heavy. But yeah, come join me over there. That's where you'll find a good chunk of my time. What about you, Jerome? Where are we finding you?
You can find me at NotJeromeRhett on Instagram, and now that I've retired, put my hat up on my laser career. The lasers are done. Laserist Motown is no more, which means I have plenty of free time to actually add some stuff to my social media account. So hopefully, that means I'll probably be posting more to Instagram, so you can follow me there. And also, don't be afraid to come on over to the YouTube channel if you want to see more extra content that you cannot get from the audio streaming platforms. Stuff like gaming videos, vlogs, book reviews, mini reviews, and film versions of all of the podcast episodes, or at least majority of them. There are a few that are audio exclusive, and there are a few that are actually video exclusive, like Bullet Train, for example. Our Bullet Train review is a video exclusive. You can only see it on YouTube. Mostly because the audio is messed up. So
for a second, I'm like,
that's neither here nor there. The point is that it's exclusively on YouTube. So if you want to hear what we have to say about Bullet Train and some other projects, in fact, Bullet Train isn't the only one. Go on over to the YouTube channel. It's the only way to catch it. But
what did you do to the Bullet Train audio? I feel like
I didn't do anything. All right, it just was
that
what
was
it was.
Years ago. Dang.
Yeah, that's a discussion. We're gonna have a chat afterwards. What happened to the audio?
Listen, regardless, the point is, like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you're already on the YouTube. We would really appreciate it. And if you're supporting us on our audio streaming platforms, thank you so much. You're amazing. We appreciate you. Tune in next week for something. We don't quite know what it will be, but you'll find out just as soon as we do. And it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be filled with podcast goodness. But until then, have a good night, good morning, good evening, whenever you're listening to this. And we will catch you for the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Sounds like
I'm
I'm
sorry.
listening to a butterfly just like furiously trying to leave their their family behind.
That sounds like me.
Did you say butterfly? Did you hear that story about that kid who crushed up a butterfly and injected it into his knee and died?
What the fuck type of stories are you getting? What was that?
Also, that's karma for your ass because the butterfly was like, "Why the hell did you do that? You know what? Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Do it."
God damn, that was not the story I was expecting you to come up with. Like, so I was expecting like you get the kid like rubbed it on his face or something. Because like when I was a kid, we used to rub the lightning bugs, which was now I realize just their guts on our face to make it glow, you know. But like inject, where did he get a needle?
I don't know. He like injected the crushed up remains and like he like blended it with something, some sort of liquid, and injected it into his leg and died.
You know, when I was a kid, we did normal crimes. Okay, we stole, we broke some windows here and there. What the fuck? Butterfly? Hold on, injection.
Yeah, look it up.
Go on over to the YouTube channel at The First Ones to Die to see all the fun stuff we got going on here, like mini reviews, book reviews, gaming videos, vlogs, all types of stuff.
Please follow us at The First Ones to Die everywhere. Go ahead and give us a like and subscribe.